Hey, man.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of the 1561 Sky Battle?
Is this 1561?
Yeah.
Is that the year?
Yes.
So this is an alien thing?
I mean, could be.
All right, roll the thing. I think everyone just stared at the sun too long. We were at Waffle House, dude. You were struggling that day? Were you like, this is really taking a toll on my mental
really
health?
tough to see. This was written by a guy named Flug Blatt.
His name is what?
No, I know someone named Hans.
No, you don't. His name is Hans. We know the same Hans.
Things I learned last night. TILLN it.
What is the 1561 Sky Battle?
Sky Battle. Or
what do we have, like pirate notes?
Or there's also the 1561 Celestial Phenomenon over Nuremberg. There's another name.
Oh, yeah. Sky Battle's way more catchy.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds way cooler.
That's like if the show was either going to be called BattleBots or robots built by nerds that fight each other
In the cool little ring.
to the death.
In a cage.
No, it's not even the robot. And they were like, this is a little misleading because we can't tell. If the show is called Robots Built by Nerds That Fight Each Other to Death, it sounds like the nerds fight each other to the death. Not the robots.
Not the robots, yeah.
They were like, it's just misleading.
So this is a similar scenario. Maybe.
1561. Pirates had to have recorded this. Or Vikings or something.
No, humans.
Pirates are people too. Just like actors.
Prove it.
Pirates are people too.
Okay, well, all right. So Nuremberg, 1561.
Okay.
Average day in the then free.
Oh, you had more.
Yeah, in the then free imperial city.
I thought you were
of the
going to say
Holy Roman.
average day in the then. That's what I thought you were just about to say to me. Nuremberg, 1561. An average day in the then looked. You know what I'm saying?
Is that not how you say in that time?
In the then what?
Yeah. Is in the then free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire, Nuremberg
Sure.
was a free city at the time. There was a mass sighting of unexplained aerial phenomena, which is the modern woke term for it, but the proper term is UFOs.
I hate that you just painted that as a woke thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Woke culture got a
The
hold of
woke
the
liberal
UFOs.
media wants to
They
hide
started
it.
calling them UAPs.
They call them by, phenomena, huh? But the truth people know.
In April 1561, there was this broadsheet that was printed by a guy named Hans Glasser.
Okay. Why are you laughing?
It's just super funny.
Hans Glasser. All right. It's Hans, first of all, but all right.
No, I know someone named Hans.
No, you don't. His name is Hans. We know the same Hans.
We'll give him a call. We'll find out.
You think he's answering? Be like, hello, this is Hans. Hi, Hans.
Well, he's a lawyer now, so he'd go for hands.
Go for Hans.
That's how lawyers answer them.
Go for Hans. Wait, are you saying go for Hans? It's just too confusing.
Have you? I saw this self-defense video the other day.
How is this going to make sense?
And the guy said, if you're getting mugged, he said, you need to divert their attention away. So what you want to do is you want to say something
Oh, just off the wall.
that doesn't make any sense. So be like, I saw a pig the other day. And it's going to confuse them. They're going to be like, what? And when they say what, you punch them in the throat. That was the self-defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gopher hands. It's disarming. And then you can confuse them with your
Gopher
voyeur
hands.
stuff.
Oh, I was calling to ask about your law practice.
I was calling to find out about some laws.
Some law?
Hey, yeah, do you guys sell law?
Do you guys do law?
Yeah, so Hans Glasser, he printed a broadsheet. He was a local woodcutter and illustrator, and he printed a broadsheet recounting the events that everybody in the town supposedly witnessed.
Yeah.
Which the broadsheet, the way it was set up is he had, it was a piece of wood that he had painted the picture of what happened on, and then he had put his interpretation below.
Do we have a picture of it?
Yes. Here is a picture of the broadsheet of what happened in the sky over Nuremberg that day. So
Okay.
basically, the sun was playing chess with the moon and flipped the table over.
Yeah.
And
see
all the
that.
pieces went flying everywhere.
Some tiddlywinks involved. And
So to explain this picture,
I hope he had an artistic approach to this instead of like literally what was in the
this
sky.
is exactly what they saw. That'd be terrifying. So here's what. Let me explain this for our audio listeners. You got this the town of Nuremberg, the sleepy town of Nuremberg. Picture a town in 1561. That's what it looks like. One of the churches.
Yeah, picture what town looked like in the then.
One of the churches on the far end of town is on fire.
Yep.
And there's smoke emanating from it and a bunch of little orbs around the outside of that church. And then in the sky, there is the sun, very large, with an angry expression on its face, as you know the sun does sometimes.
It looks like the sun from, if you ever played Super Mario Brothers 3,
Yeah.
there's a sun level. It's got a face.
Yeah.
That's that.
It's that. Behind the sun, there's these two like crescent moon type things. It's almost like the sun has like a backpack with wings on it that it's wearing that day. And then there's a bunch of orbs all over the place, lots of different colors, a bunch of crosses. Some of the orbs are connected with crosses.
What language is this? What language is this?
I don't know. Latin, maybe. That's an assumption. I have no idea. And then there is a bunch of like, honestly, they look like chess pieces. They look like broken pawns all over the place, and then cannons that like shoot the little orbs out of them.
Yeah, this is not
It's chaos.
clear at all.
Yeah.
What
And then
happened.
there's a giant black spear type thing at the bottom that looks like if you could picture the ships from Star Wars, that's what it looks like. A gigantic spear shaped.
It's worth
thing.
the Google. What do they got to
Yeah.
Google to find this thing?
The 1561 Sky Battle or the 1561 Celestial Phenomena over Nuremberg. Either one will
Yeah.
get you there. So whatever happened over the skies that day,
Opposed to
it was an event.
As opposed to the 1584,
Sky Battle.
whatever it is over Nuremberg.
Yeah, and there was another year. No, there wasn't. And so the interpretation that Hans Glasser gave to this was that the Lord was very angry with the people.
Yeah.
Here's the translation of
For this
what
whole
says.
thing down here?
Yeah, I'm gonna read that and I'm
Okay.
gonna translate it in real time. Ready?
Yeah.
This is, I believe, Latin. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I know how to read it.
Go ahead.
So it says, in the morning of April 14th, 1561, at daybreak between 4 and 5 a.m., a dreadful apparition occurred on the sun. And then this was seen in Nuremberg in the city, before the gates and in the country, by many men and women. People talked weird back then. Just, forget about it. At first, there appeared to, in the middle of the sun, two blood-red semicircle arcs. So those are the little
Yeah.
backpack thing.
I think everyone just stared at the sun too long.
Everyone's like, look
Someone
at the
was
sun.
like, "Hey, look!" And everyone went,
Oh, look at all that stuff we see.
"Whoa!
You see all those dots?
I can't get them to go away."
If I look at the church, they're on the church now. Can you guys see that
It blinded
too?
the city. Certainly, this is God's judgment.
And in the sun above, I'm reading again. I don't know if you could tell. And in the sun above and below and on both sides, the color was blood. Not red, it was blood. There stood a round ball of partly dull, partly black furous color. I don't know what that means. Likewise, there stood on both sides and as a torus about the sun, such blood red ones and other balls in large number, basically saying there was a bunch of stuff flying around in rods and balls and crosses and strips. And they said these all started to fight among themselves so that the globes, which were the first in the sun, flew out to the ones standing on both sides. Thereafter, the globes standing outside the sun in the small and large rods flew into the sun. Besides the globes, they flew back and forth among themselves and fought vehemently with each other for over an hour. And then it says, and when the conflict... I'm fast forwarding. Long story short, eventually it got to the point.
He put that in there? he put a TLDR in there?
The way he wrote was tough to understand. And then he got to a point where he says the orbs and the rods got so tired from fighting each other for so long that many of them blew up in a bright shining light and then fell to the earth with smoke.
So that's what caused the smoke over there.
The smoke over there is those different orbs falling and burning. And so he said that God was very angry with the people, and if they didn't fix their lives and behave better, that he was going to bring his wrath on them.
Yes.
Yeah. So as many of those people today, when we see stuff happen in the sky, we say, "Oh, that was probably aliens." Back then, when you saw,
yeah, sure.
Back then, when you saw stuff in the sky, you say, "Oh, God's probably mad at us."
Oh man.
So
God knows I was a jerk yesterday.
So God saw me be a jerk yesterday, so he made a bunch of stuff fly from the sun and blow up.
God knows I stole $350 million from every bank in the metro area. And for that reason, he is out. Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. We love our listeners a lot, and one way that you can let us know you're here is by leaving a podcast review. Maybe that's a 5-star thing in the Apple Podcast app. Maybe you listen on Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. We do read all the comments and reviews. We just love knowing what you think about this show. Also, if you haven't yet, go check out some of our other episodes. My current favorite is the Identical Strangers episode. It's 3 brothers or triplets who were separated at birth, unbeknownst to them or their parents, as part of a really weird experiment. So there's a lot of really fun stuff we talked about in that episode, but thank you for checking this out. Now back to this one.
This is a peculiar event because here we have this guy witnessed it, recorded it, and drew a picture about it. Just like the police do when things happen. And a lot of other people in the town reportedly saw this and corroborated his story.
Like they were like, yep, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they were like, signed off, I agree. I don't know. I don't know how this got corroborated, but apparently a bunch of people say, yeah, this is legit.
Okay.
I don't know. So there's a lot of theories to how this happened. The first and biggest and probably most realistic is aliens.
Aliens, obviously.
Yeah, it was aliens. This was
red
a
and
battle.
blue aliens fighting in the sky.
Yeah. They had a war, and they said, if we do war on our planet, then we might mess it up. Let's go to the stupid humans planet.
Are there any other accounts from any neighboring cities or anything like that? Because if this is a big event like this, you would have seen it. Right? Do we know?
I don't know. I don't know how close this was to other towns. I don't know. I don't know about any other towns that witnessed it.
But I'm saying
there is another something interesting that we'll talk about.
Okay.
But as far as I know, no other nearby town saw this event.
I'm saying like the solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just like in North Kansas City.
Yeah, that was everywhere.
Yeah, but think about how towns weren't really that far away back then.
Yeah, true.
Like if we lived the same distance away that we live right now, I would never know you existed.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's pretty crazy.
You know, and it's less than 30 miles.
To be fair, though, like I don't know how far. It depends how high up this happened, because like the horizon line.
That's true.
Like you and I might not be able to witness the same thing in the sky.
You know,
we
we
were
see
at
the
home.
same moon at night, though.
No, there's a different moon for every town. The U.S., the NASA, they put a new moon for every
The
town.
NASA. You don't even call it NASA. You call it the NASA. The NASA. That's a red flag right there. If someone won't say it. Also, are there other ones that? What's another agency that we say it?
The NASA. Oh,
Yeah,
the NASA?
we say NASA.
The FABI.
We don't say. Yeah, we don't say
Kaya. The
We don't say the other ones.
There's got to be a reason.
I don't know,
There's
man.
got to be a reason. The ERS.
What are y'all hiding at NASA? What if you stood outside of NASA's building and you were like, tell me about the 1561
Yeah.
air fight,
Sky battle.
sky battle.
They would be like, probably a natural phenomenon.
So are there sky battle truthers out there who are going to find our show?
Maybe we'll see. We'll find out when the comments come in.
So what are the theories then?
The aliens,
Right.
Aliens said, "Let's go have a war on Earth real quick," and last like an hour. And I mean, if you look at it from that lens, you can see it. Like if you didn't know aliens,
If you
were
look at it
possible-
from that lens, you couldn't imagine that, right?
if you were to imagine that that's what happened, you could imagine
Pretty close.
it happening.
Pretty close.
But if you look at the picture, look at the picture. Hold on, look at the picture. That looks like that especially that black arrow. If you're listening, I'm sorry, but like go look this up. That black arrow looks like if you were alive in the 1500s and you haven't seen Star Wars yet, but you saw an Imperial destroyer. This is probably what you draw, and you'd be like, yeah, there was an arrow in the sky, because you didn't know what an Imperial destroyer was yet.
Okay.
And he said that they were fighting him and they got tired. They blew up with a great light, and then they fell to the ground with a lot of smoke, which sounds like spaceships blowing up. So I don't know.
Okay.
If you want to look at it that way, it's believable. That's what I choose to believe.
Okay.
The other theories, there's a couple other theories. One of them, it was that it was a meteor shower. Early morning,
Probably pretty
meteor
likely.
shower with a bunch of just space rocks falling and hitting stuff. And if you've ever seen a meteor shower, if you were to imagine that that's what happened,
Imagine a meteor shower.
if you were to imagine that's what happened, you can
that's
imagine
pretty
it.
close.
yeah, that one does kind of check out. Also, like if it was a meteor shower, maybe. The problem is we're able to go back and like find record of a lot of like oh hey, we found meteorites in that area or whatever. None of that's there. So like if it was a meteor shower, there's no record of anything ever being recovered.
Okay.
And there's nothing that we can look back through looking at the stars and stuff.
How well were
The
people
stars don't
keeping
tell
records?
us.
I mean, if this guy's keeping a record for this,
I mean, I would just, I don't know. This was a pretty life-changing event for this guy, it seems.
yeah.
Because if you don't know, I mean, even if it was just an eclipse and you had never seen that before,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
it would shake your brain.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, I knew it was going to happen, and the solar eclipse was a pretty crazy event.
yeah, it's hard to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It got dark.
It's hard to see that. It's hard to be like, whoa. It is hard to live through this. We were at Waffle House, dude. You were struggling that day? Were you like, this is really taking a toll on my mental health?
tough to see.
Yeah.
I just saw that and I said, you know what? I think this is God trying to tell us that there is a disease coming, and we all need to be careful or turn from our ways. Can I make that joke?
That's fine. That's fine. It's better than what I was going to make.
Make it.
No.
Okay. So it could have been aliens, could have been a meteor shower.
Okay.
Another idea is that it was a comet, and they just saw the comet flying through the sky. The problem is,
They described an hour-long experience.
yeah, and they described a lot of other things, like not just one object with the tail, and they described like things falling down with smoke and
Right.
explosions. It could have been a comet, and he could have just really embellished it, because at the end of the day, like this is just one guy's painting,
Yeah.
and something he wrote down. Like he could have just embellished what he saw.
Like, there was a lot of stuff.
There was so much you're not gonna believe.
And I was a
all the
hero.
stuff. Yeah. I saved one of them. I went over to the orb and I said, "Orb, fly again," and it did.
And he's like, my name is Hans. And the orb was like,
the orb
my
was
name is
like-
Orb.
The orb was like, "I think you mean Hans." And then Hans was like,
He's like, this is a life-changing thing for
that
me.
does sound better.
Okay.
So there's that idea.
So there's that stupid idea. And there's what?
Another idea is that this guy literally just made it up. Like
That's
nobody
what I'm
saw
thinking
this.
at this point,
Like,
yeah.
he literally just made it all up. Nothing
He's like,
at
yeah,
all
and
happened.
several other people will corroborate my story.
Yeah. Several other people said they saw it happen. So
Who? The other people in the town?
here's the thing. Yes, he could have just made this up. At the end of the day, all we have is a painting and some stuff he wrote on a piece of wood. Could he have made that up? Absolutely. People draw stuff that's not real all the time.
Yeah.
But
No.
here's what we will say. But we have a lot of other broadsheets that he
That's
printed
what I was
like
asking.
this.
Oh.
And they do
Check out.
tell events that we do know are historically accurate.
Okay.
And so is it possible that one time he just made something up? Sure. But it does kind
Is
of,
it likely? Probably not.
yeah, especially in this format, most likely he is recounting a true tale. Could he have embellished it? Maybe. Could he have drawn this a little different than it actually looked? Most likely. He clearly put this theological spin on his interpretation of it. So maybe his art had that
Reflects
same
that.
spin as well.
Sure.
I mean, the sun has a face in the picture. So most likely,
Well, I don't know. Why don't you go look?
Okay, let's go look.
Yeah, let's go look. Let's go see if the sun has
Let's
a
take
face.
a pause and look at the sun's
Has
face.
anyone ever seen?
Yeah, anybody ever seen the face? Ask the NASA.
Ask the NASA.
Does the sun have a face? Another theory, which seems to be the most
Widely accepted.
widely accepted, is that this was an issue of sun dogs, which a lot of people don't know what this is. But on
Yeah.
rare occasion,
You were like, widely accepted is sun dogs. Oh, yeah.
a lot of people don't know this, but sometimes early in the mornings in the sky over northern European towns, sometimes the dogs from the sun just get out. They're all over the sky,
Yeah.
barking.
Terrible neighbor.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
The sun is the worst neighbor.
Right.
His dogs are always running around. He doesn't do anything to try to catch them.
Yeah.
Animal control has to come, or they just blow up. The dogs just kind of blow up sometimes. Yeah,
Get tired and explode.
It's a mess. It's a mess. No, these are sun dogs. So this is an actual effect that can happen.
Oh.
And it's pretty rare. But basically what happens, and
What is this?
I don't know all the technical terms for this, but basically it's an atmospheric distortion of the image of the sun. And so when the sun rises in the morning, if it gets that there's like this perfect moment in the sunrise where for about an hour, the sun will have these two other suns that you can see from the sky, and it's a distortion in the atmosphere. There's not two sets of suns, but they're out on
Where
both
is this picture
left
from?
and right sides, Northern Europe. What happens is it's kind of like if you're looking through like an eyeglass in a weird way at a light, and you kind of
Sure.
can see that light in another spot on the eyeglass. It's the same thing. The atmosphere is distorting the image of the sun, and you're seeing the sun 3 times, one in the middle, 2 on both sides. They call it sun dogs because they say, "Oh yeah, look, those are the dogs of the sun over on the side." It's his.
Yeah, those are his dogs.
Those are his dogs.
You know, the sun has pets just like us.
Even the sun has dogs.
We relate to the sun.
We're not too different. The sun and I. So here's what's crazy. The sun has it's two dogs.
Yeah.
But most of the time, when you look, there's only one sun, because that's when the sun carried the dogs. Hey, thanks again for listening to this episode. If you like our show, make sure you follow us on social at TILLN Podcast, or subscribe anywhere where you're listening to right now, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, whatever it is. And if you want more, we do have a Patreon you can support us on. In there, you get all sorts of perks like ad-free episodes, early access to our content, and even a Discord with our hosts and producers. So we'd love for you to check that out. All you got to do is text TILLN to 66866. That's TILLN to 66866. But thanks again for checking us out. Here's the thing. This is somewhat believable because if we look at the picture, there are these like weird arc things.
Yeah, and I'm curious what the like the little blue pole looking things on the side are. You know?
Yeah. You can kind of, maybe if you look at some of that, like there's like that coloration on the side, maybe he's interpreting that as those bars.
Well, and I'm sure, I really do think if you're looking at this, like if this appears, right, and you're looking straight at it, like you're gonna have the sun dots when you're looking around.
Yeah, that effect where you stare at the sun, you start seeing things.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, I'm sure the people saw this and they were staring at it and they're like, what the heck is that? And then they started seeing all that stuff from staring at the sun.
So this is the widely accepted one.
This is the widely accepted theory. Skeptics disagree, but I think this is probably most likely what they saw. And who knows? Maybe this happened, and then there was a meteor shower at the same time, and a comet,
and aliens,
and an alien war.
I mean, what are the odds?
I mean, the odds are slim, but they're not zero.
That's true.
They're slim, but not zero. So I think this is the most likely possibility. Here's the deal, though. This isn't the only time this happened. We have another broadsheet from 1566 in the town of Basel with a very similar picture. This is
in which year?
1566.
5 years later?
Only a few years later. And another
Very
European town.
Similar.
Yeah, and so in this picture, to paint the picture a town in 1566, 5 years further along than they were
whatever
before.
things looked like then.
So the Ford Taurus is a little bit nicer than it was back then. But
it's a town square. There's multiple people out.
Yeah, they're all pointing up at it, freaking out.
And then the sun is back there, still has a face.
Still faced.
Same face, though.
Yeah, he's sun-faced. Totally sun-faced.
And there are white orbs, look like, those snowballs or something around it, but then also just black ones. And the whole sky is full of either a white or a black dot.
Yep. And in this one, it's a similar story. They interpret it again as God was mad at them, and there was a judgment coming. Here's the text of this event. During the year 1566, on the 27th of July, after the sun had shone warm on the clear, bright skies at around 9 p.m., so in the evening this time, it suddenly took a different shape and color. First, the sun lost all its radiance and luster, and it was no bigger than the full moon. And it finally seemed to weep tears of blood, and the air behind it went dark. And then they thought the sun was a boy at the time. And then he was seen by all the people of the city and the countryside in much the same way also as the moon, which had already been almost full and had shone through the night, assuming an almost blood red color in the sky. The next day, so now this is a multi-day event. Okay. The next day, the sun rose at about 6 o'clock and slept with the same appearance it had as it was lying before. He lit the houses, the streets around as if everything was blood red and fiery. And then at dawn of August the 7th, so many days later, we saw large black spheres coming and going with great speed and precipitation before the sun, and chattered as if they led a fight. So they were loud. Many of them were fiery red and soon crumbled and then extinguished. So this one does actually seem like this is a combination of everything. The first one sounds like an eclipse. The first thing that happened sounded like it was probably an eclipse. And then the next one sounds like a blood moon. And then it does sound like a meteor shower.
Yeah.
Because this was a multi-day affair. And so I think what's going on here is they piece it all together and say this was like the judgment of the God that came in 3 different visions. And God is mad at us again. Because that guy over in Nuremberg.
How far away did this take place from?
This took place in the town of Basel. The other one took place in Nuremberg. So if you just...
Nuremberg?
Yeah. How else would you spell it?
Nuremberg?
Yeah. Nurembe.
Yeah. Nuremberg? You said Nurm?
Yeah.
Nurem?
Nuremberg? Nuremberg? It's
4.5
hour drive. 441
Okay. So
kilometers.
It's a good distance.
I don't know how many miles that is.
I don't like the face you made. The American face of kilometers. Where you're like, idiots. Like, dude, we're the only ones who don't use it. So it's a good distance away, though. I mean, like, it's not like,
274 miles. Yeah, this was written by a guy named Flugblatt.
What? His name is what? Did you say Flugblatt?
Hold on, I don't...
Maybe Flugblatt?
I think... Hold on, I'm going to Google that.
I think the town is called... You say his name is... Why are you the one in charge of this? We need a research assistant just so Tim knows how to pronounce things.
So, Flugblatt is a noun in German. Both the spelling of the word and the article preceding the word, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, here we go. Oh, that's German. I can't read that.
What are we doing here?
I'm trying to figure out what Flugblatt means. It's not the name because it was written. Oh, a Flugblatt is a leaflet or a little book or a piece of paper.
Okay, so that's what this is.
So the next time someone gives you a flyer, say, "Oh, hey, thanks for this Flugblatt."
But I'm saying that this is a Flugblatt. It's not
This
written
is a
by.
Flugblatt. This is a Flugblatt of Basel. This is what the caption says. It's a Flugblatt of Basel by Samuel Apyrius and Samuel Cosius. So next time someone gives you a flyer, call it a Flugblatt. That's
Thank you for this Flugblatt.
Yeah, do you guys have a Flugblatt or something?
You know what? One of the most effective ways of ministry is I hand out these little Flugblatts, right? And it says heaven or hell on it.
And it says, in 1561, in the skies over Nuremberg,
There I was
God judged humanity.
in a Bucky's bathroom. And on the top of the urinal was a Flugblatt.
Changed my life forever.
I was like, who wrote this? Old Hansy?
Oh, handsy.
So
Yeah. Turns out it's Hans.
who knew?
Who knew?
Who canoe? You know?
So this scenario is a little bit easier for me to stomach. It's a little easier for me to say.
All those events happened within like 3 days of each other?
Well, no, because it started. The first one was July 27th.
Yeah, but I mean that's like
and then
that's like 2 weeks.
the last was August 7th. So yeah, this is a long period of different celestial events that they were.
The other one is just he's
connected.
saying that it all happened one night.
Yeah. Here's what I think happened. You want me to tell you what I think happened?
Please tell me your theory.
I think what happened is Hans saw something he couldn't explain, and he tried to explain it, and he embellished upon it pretty hard.
Or he talked to other people and everyone had different things. So the
also
story
possible.
just kind of
Develop like it's like telephone,
Yep.
or for them, Flugblatt.
So play You a Flugblatt?
Okay. It's just so funny to me. So
Yeah, it's because you're saying it wrong, probably.
you know what's really nice?
What's that?
Months ago, it was super cold in here, and we turned the air off. And now it feels like when we first started this podcast in here. Like I feel like I need to take my shoes off. I'm not wearing a belt, but I feel like I should take my belt off too.
It feels a little warm now?
Yeah, let me kick my shoes off.
Don't. We're almost done.
I'm kicking my shoes off.
We're near the end. What more do you have to say?
Here's the deal. I used to only do this shoeless.
Yeah.
And then I started wearing shoes for some reason. I should go back. I should go back to being barefoot on the podcast.
Okay. Is there anything more about the topic?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So I think, like I said, I think he probably embellished
I'm
upon
just
it.
glad you wear
Most of
clothes
the
now
time.
because we're on video, you know? Tim used to be fully nude. Just over here. Like, hey, you ever heard of Blockbuster? And I literally had to sit over here with my eyes closed the whole time.
Oh, you're going to do that again? Oh, cool.
All right, well.
Yeah, no one can see me. It's audio.
Yeah. They do this at every professional radio station. Every professional radio station is just naked. All right.
It really helps.
Every country station.
It helps with the nerves.
K-Love.
If you're afraid, take your clothes off.
K-Love hosts.
Hey, thanks for listening to K-Love.
Hey, it's time for the pledge drive.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Moral of the story, probably aliens.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's your
most likely aliens.
Your real theory is that
My real theory.
this guy went around.
I think it was probably the sundogs. I think that makes sense.
That does
and then
make
he
sense.
probably stared at it and saw some stuff in his eyes, and then he embellished it a little bit.
But could be.
But if you look at this and you don't see this and say that's probably an Imperial Star Destroyer, then you're wrong. It is. That to me is the one part that's like kind of phenomenal about this. Is like that looks like what we say.
You know what that looks like to
massive
me?
starships look like.
That looks like a blind spot to me. Like you've damaged your eyes
in the shape of an Imperial Star Destroyer.
Sure.
No. You've never seen Star Wars.
I've
So
never
if
seen
you
Star
saw
Wars.
this in the sky,
Yeah.
you probably would think, "Oh, it's like an arrow or something." That's what your brain would associate with it, because your brain isn't.
Bro, are you hungry? What is happening to you?
What?
Just at the end, you're like mentally breaking down to the point where you're like, that's an Imperial Star. Are you? You ever seen Star Wars? Like you're starting to you look belligerent. You're sober belligerent right now.
Well, maybe it's because I took off my shoes.
And you're just over here like, well, you ever seen Star Wars before? What if your dumb brain saw this in the sky? What would you think it was? You'd be like, oh, yeah. That's what you're treating me like. Chill.
I'm just bitter that you haven't seen Star Wars.
That's fine. I'm surprised. I think it's weird they both sons have a face. Mm-hmm. And the tiddlywinks up there. It's fun.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a weird thing. I mean, the other one had sound. This one doesn't seem to have sound. He never mentions hearing anything.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
The
right.
other one did mention that they were loud.
Yeah.
Which, this is weird. If it was a sky battle with aliens and there was explosions and crashes,
You would hear it.
You'd probably hear it.
Yeah. You don't
but-
hear a meteor shower.
Yeah, meteors are quiet.
Not typically, anyway.
Yeah. They turn the volume down before they
Oh, okay. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Nah, we probably should go. Things are getting weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but maybe it's because he was talking the whole time, this guy. He's like, it looks like maybe an Imperial thing, and everyone's like, shut up, we're trying to listen to this battle. But if you listen real close, it's a Fiddle Off.
Hey, if you like this episode, we've got more of them you can watch here, or just some highlights, some of our favorite parts from episodes before. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any future episodes, and leave a comment and let us know how we're doing. So thank you for being a part of this community. We'll see you again on the next episode of Things I Learned Last Night.